Communications. How are you? So we're talking about conflict. I'm sorry, that's got to be everybody's least favorite thing. Some people do like it though. I've just never quite understood that. It just makes me feel very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But it happens and you can't just ignore it, right? So we're talking about how to get through it, how to recognize it, and even how to prevent it. So today we're going to talk about conflict, dealing with conflict in your organization. And so what you really need to have is, because conflict's going to happen, whether it's vacation time, whether it's an abrasive leader, whether it's the fact that Sally has heated up tuna noodle casserole for the third time this week and the whole place smells like fish. It's going to happen. Some of these are easier to solve than others, but we're going to talk about conflict. So when you have conflict in your organization, like we said, it's going to happen. What you need to do is you need to make sure that there's a policy or a process in place to deal with this conflict. One, somebody needs that is in conflict or is experiencing conflict needs to have a safe place to report that conflict, whether it's a manager, whether it's an HR individual, whether it's employee assistance program. They need to be able to talk to somebody about this conflict. Now, for some conflict, such as Sally and her tuna noodle casserole heating it up in the microwave, stinking up the break room for 3 days, that might be all that you need to do. And maybe there needs to be some discussion about, thinking about others. But sometimes you just need to talk it out, and that could be the end of it. Although, if you're having a bigger conflict, there might need to be some steps taken for resolution. So also, the next step is, how do you resolve these larger conflicts? Once they've maybe talked to a manager about how they're feeling, if you need to get that other person involved and talk through, what does this mean for you? How do we need to adjust these behaviors? And I will tell you from the trainings that I've been to, especially with somebody dealing with an abrasive leader or an employee, they don't always realize that they are being abrasive. I know, but it's true. They don't always know. So there needs to be a discussion, okay, about what they're doing. How is that making other people in the organization feel? Now, the pushback you're going to get is, well, that's not the facts. Well, we're not dealing with the Sam Spade, just the facts, ma'am. We're dealing with the perception. And when you have somebody who's abrasive and the perception is that they're belittling, that they're belligerent, that they're mean, that, they are toxic, that is a serious issue. So you have to talk to that person about their behavior. I know, and I hate it. I hate it too. I mean, thankfully, I don't really work with anybody except for myself. So I have to have those discussions with myself. But it's true. You need to make sure that you're having these discussions. If it needs to be escalated, make sure you're documenting these conversations. Okay, I'll say that again without the claps. Make sure you're documenting these conversations, because if it is becoming a systemic problem, if it is becoming chronic, if it is becoming something that is really just poisoning the rest of the organization, you're going to have to take steps. Whether that is putting somebody on a performance evaluation, whether that is putting somebody on notice, or whether that's terminating somebody. And we're going to have that happen. So you need to make sure you're documenting these conversations, okay? First and foremost, that is the most important thing, okay? Because people will be like, well, they've been here forever and they're really a pain in the ass, but we can't get rid of them. All right. Do they know? Have you talked to them? Has it been documented? All these things need to happen, okay? So this is your conflict resolution and reporting process that you need to make sure that you're taking this seriously. And if somebody comes to you with an issue, you need to make sure that you're taking it seriously and they need to feel safe. And that is also how you are projecting that perception to these people who are working for you or who might have an issue. They're not going to report a conflict if they don't feel like they're safe or that they're going to be taken seriously. So you need to make sure that you do take this seriously, that everybody knows how to do it, how to report something, and that they will be heard. Because at the end of the day, being heard is the first step. Resolving it and fixing the problem are, need to follow. Okay, so that's how the Lytle conflict resolution at its finest. Make sure you stay tuned to this space for more helpful tips and tricks for your organization. Have a great one.